Hello and welcome. In this lecture, we are going to write code to restart the game. We're going to do this by creating a method. The method we are going to create, we want it to automatically reposition the mouse pointer in the upper left corner of the panel. So when the user moves the pointer into a wall, you want it to reposition the pointer at the start. Also, when the user moves the pointer out of the playing field and back in again, you want it to reposition the pointer at the start. So we're going to create a method just underneath this finish label method. So I'm just going to come here and just tab down, so we're going to create the method here. So I'm going to call the method move to start. So it's going to be a private method that can be accessed only by the methods that are allowed to access it, and it's going to be void. It's not going to return anything. I'm going to call it move to start. Because it's a method, we need to surround it with parentheses, and the reason it's complaining because one, I'm not going to put semicolon there because I need to specify the code. So I need to specify the code in between two curly braces. If I put one there, you notice the squiggly lines have gone away. So it's complaining because it hasn't found the curly braces. So this is where I'm going to specify the code. Basically, what I want it to do, I want the mouse pointer to move 10 pixels down and to the right of the starting point in the upper left corner of the maze. So to do that, we'll type in point, starting. Okay, so this is the variable starting point. I'm going to set that to equals to the panel, which is a playing field, panel 1. Dot the location of the panel. There's a location property there. So it'll be panel 1 dot location. That's the first line of code. And so I need to specify the pixels. So then I call the variable again, which is starting that's this here. So that's the starting point variable. Dot, so need to offset it. So this is a method. I'm going to use this offset method. It tells you what the method does, and I need to pass it. Every method must have parentheses. I need to pass it the value. So it's going to be a pixel value of 10 by 10. So what that means is 10 pixels down and to the right of the starting point. All right. Finally, I need to specify the cursor position. So cursor, we've got a cursor property here. So type in cursor dot position. We've got position property, so the position of the cursor, we're going to set that to equals to the variable, this point. Okay, we're going to set that to equals to a method. We're attaching a method to that. There's a method called point to screen. So we're attaching that method. If you put the mouse over it, tells you what the method does. All right. So we're attaching that method to it. And inside the parentheses, we're going to pass in the variable starting point. All right. And then we end the method with a semicolon. So because we've got the yellow strips, it means the code has not been saved. So we click to save the code. So let's run our code and see if the code works. So click on start. Okay, so I assume this is the starting point. If it touches the wall, I expect it to go back. Okay. Our code doesn't appear to be working, so let's see what's gone wrong. The reason the pointer was not at the top left corner of the form when I ran the application was because we did not call the method. When you create a method, you have to call it from somewhere. So what I want to do, I want to call the method. I want the mouse pointer to be positioned as soon as the form load. So the best way to call that method would be to call it from this initialize component. The initialize component method is a method that the IDE, which is the Visual Studio, wrote. And what the method does, it adds all the controls and the components to the form and also sets their properties when the form loads. So because I want the mouse pointer to be visible at the top left corner, upper top left corner when the form loads, I need to call the function, this function here. So to call the function, all I need to do is type the name. So I just type in move. Notice that the method has already showed up here. So that's the method. I just put a semicolon there and save it. If I run the code now, I should see the pointer automatically positioned at the top corner on the left. So let's try that. You see that? So that's the mouse, that's it there, positioned right at the top. You see that it was positioned there. So this is where the mouse was. So that's the code we just wrote. So that as soon as the form loads, automatically positions the pointer there, because that's the starting point for the game. So that's it for this lecture. In the next lecture, we are going to create the event handler for each of the walls. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.